The afternoon sun hung low over Chicago's south
Much
side,
better, thank
casting
you.
long shadows across cracked pavement and rusted storefronts.
Interaction on screen. two looks
Sophia
positive.
Martinez wiped
Page on
sweat
main
from
feed
her
is
forehead,
gesturing.
smearing a
Logging
line of
response
grease
now.
across her cheek as she stepped out of the small auto garage where she worked. At 23, Sophia was known in the neighborhood as the girl who could fix anything. Cars, bikes, generators, if it was broken, she would try. Life hadn't been easy, but her hands had learned strength early. Across the street, near a bus stop, a sudden sharp sound caught her attention, the metallic snap of a wheel giving out. Sophia turned and saw a young boy stumble forward in his wheelchair, panic flashing across his face as the chair tilted dangerously to one side. The wheel had bent inward, scraping harshly against the concrete. The boy froze, gripping the armrests. He looked no older than 8. Behind him stood a tall man in a tailored navy blue suit, clearly out of place in this neighborhood. His polished shoes were already dusty. He reached toward his son but hesitated, unsure how to help. His phone buzzed in his hand, another business call, but he ignored it. Sophia didn't think twice. She crossed the street quickly and crouched in front of the wheelchair. "Hey, it's okay," she said softly, her voice calm and warm. "You're safe. What's your name?" "Ethan," the boy whispered, eyes wide. "I'm Sophia," she smiled. "Let's see what happened here, all right." She examined the wheel, spinning it gently. The axle was bent, and one bolt had snapped clean off. Not an easy fix, especially without proper tools. Sophia glanced up at the father. "It's broken, but I can try to fix it enough to get him moving." The man nodded slowly. "Please," he said, his voice controlled but tight. "Do whatever you can." Sophia ran back to the garage and returned with a small toolbox, old, scratched, but reliable. She knelt on the pavement, her jeans soaking up dust and oil. People passed by, some staring, some ignoring them completely. As she worked, Sophia talked to Ethan, asking about his favorite cartoons, his school, his dog back home. Slowly, the fear in his eyes softened into curiosity, then into a shy smile. The father watched silently. His name was Michael Anderson, a self-made millionaire from New York. Boardrooms, private jets, and luxury hospitals were his world, not broken sidewalks and struggling garages. He could buy 10 new wheelchairs without blinking. Yet here was this young mechanic, giving her time, her effort, her care, without knowing who he was or what he owned. Her hands moved with confidence, tightening bolts, adjusting alignment, refusing to give up even when the metal resisted her. She frowned in concentration, muttering to herself. Michael noticed her worn gloves, her tired eyes, and the quiet determination in her posture. For the first time in years, he felt something uncomfortable settle in his chest. Humility. As Sophia tested the wheel again, it spun straighter than before. She exhaled slowly. "Okay, Ethan," she said, smiling. "Try moving now." The wheelchair rolled forward, and in that simple motion, something much bigger began to change. The wheelchair rolled forward smoothly, and Ethan's face lit up with pure relief. He laughed, a sound so light it seemed to cut through the noise of traffic and distant sirens. Sophia watched carefully as he turned the chair left, then right, testing it like a pilot on a first flight. When it held steady, she finally relaxed her shoulders. "It works," Ethan said proudly. Sophia grinned. "Told you not to worry." Michael Anderson let out a breath he hadn't realized he was holding. For the first time since the accident, his son looked free, untethered from fear, no longer stuck or embarrassed in public. Michael stepped closer, his shadow falling across the cracked pavement. "Thank you," he said sincerely. "You have no idea what this means." Sophia stood, brushing dust from her jeans. "I'm just glad he's okay." Michael reached into his coat pocket and pulled out his wallet, thick and worn from use. He removed several crisp bills and held them out to her. "Please, take this. It's the least I can do." Sophia's smile faded slightly. She looked at the money, then back at Ethan, who was spinning the wheels again with fascination. Gently, she pushed Michael's hand back. "I don't fix kids for cash," she said calmly. "Save it for something he really needs." The words hit Michael harder than any insult ever had. He had built his empire believing money could solve everything, problems, delays, discomfort. Yet here stood a young mechanic who refused it, as if his wealth meant nothing in this moment. He slowly put the money away, feeling oddly small. Rain began to fall, light at first, dotting the pavement with dark spots. Sophia glanced up at the sky, then without hesitation removed her worn jacket and draped it over Ethan's legs. "Don't want you catching a cold," she said. Michael noticed the jacket's thin fabric, frayed at the cuffs. He realized she probably needed it more than his son did. "Where are you headed?" Sophia asked. "Back to our hotel," Michael replied. "We're not from here." She nodded. "The sidewalk 2 blocks down is smoother. Less shaking." As they prepared to leave, Michael hesitated. "What made you help us?" he asked. "You didn't even ask who we were." Sophia shrugged. "Didn't matter. Something was broken. I fix broken things." Michael watched as she returned her tools to the battered box and headed back toward the garage. The rain picked up, soaking her hair and clothes, yet she never looked back. That night, in his luxury hotel room overlooking Lake Michigan, Michael couldn't sleep. Ethan was already dreaming peacefully beside him, his wheelchair safely parked near the bed. Michael sat by the window, city lights reflecting in his eyes. He thought of Sophia's hands, strong, stained, honest. Of her refusal. Of her jacket. For the first time in years, Michael wondered if true wealth had nothing to do with money at all, and everything to do with how easily someone chose to care. The next morning, Chicago woke under a gray sky. Rainwater clung to windows and sidewalks, and the city moved slower, as if carrying the weight of yesterday's storm. Sophia arrived at the garage early, unlocking the rusted door just as she did every day. The smell of oil and metal greeted her like an old friend. She tied her hair back, unaware that her simple act of kindness had followed someone home. Across town, Michael Anderson sat at the small hotel breakfast table, watching Ethan eat cereal with rare excitement. The boy rolled easily across the room, testing his repaired wheelchair again and again. "Dad," Ethan said, "can we go back to the lady with the tools?" Michael paused. He had been thinking the same thing. An hour later, a black SUV stopped in front of Sophia's garage, drawing curious looks from passers-by. The vehicle didn't belong there. Michael stepped out, this time without his suit jacket. He carried himself differently, less guarded, more human. Sophia looked up from under the hood of a car, surprised. "You again," she said, wiping her hands. Michael smiled slightly. "I hoped you'd remember us." "I remember the kid," she replied, glancing toward Ethan, who waved enthusiastically from the chair. Michael watched her for a moment before speaking. "I couldn't stop thinking about what you said yesterday. About fixing broken things." Sophia shrugged. "It's just what I do." Michael stepped inside the garage, taking in the cramped space, the aging tools, the flickering light. "Overhead. I run companies worth millions," he said carefully. "But I don't think I've ever fixed something the way you did." Sophia raised an eyebrow. "With your hands." "With my heart," he admitted. The honesty surprised them both. Michael explained Ethan's accident, the years of hospitals, the expensive specialists, the silent guilt he carried for not being there enough. "I can buy him the best care," he said, voice tight, "but I can't give him dignity." "Yesterday, you did." Sophia listened quietly, leaning against the workbench. When he finished, she said, "Kids don't need to be pitied. They need to feel normal." Michael nodded slowly. "I want to do something. Something real." He offered to replace the wheelchair, the garage equipment, even her job if she wanted it. Sophia shook her head. "If you want to help, don't make it about me." That answer stayed with him. Before leaving, Michael asked, "Would you consider helping other kids like Ethan?" Sophia hesitated. She thought of families she'd seen struggle, of broken chairs and broken systems. "If it actually helps," she said, "then yes." As the SUV pulled away, Sophia felt a strange shift inside her. She didn't know what Michael planned, but she sensed that yesterday's broken wheel had started something far bigger. That evening, Michael made a call to his legal team. Then another to city officials. By nightfall, a decision was made. This time, he wasn't investing for profit. He was investing in people. 3 months later, the old warehouse on Maple Street looked nothing like it once had. Fresh paint covered the walls, ramps replaced broken steps, and wide glass doors welcomed everyone inside. A simple sign hung above the entrance. "Moving forward, free repairs for children with disabilities." Sophia stood near the entrance on opening day, wearing clean overalls and the same quiet confidence she'd always had. The space was bigger than her old garage, filled with new tools, workstations, and spare parts. Yet it still felt familiar, because the purpose was the same. Families began to arrive, one by one. Children in wheelchairs, parents carrying hope and exhaustion in equal measure. Sophia greeted each of them personally, kneeling to eye level, asking names, listening before touching a single bolt. Across the room, Michael Anderson watched. He wasn't in a suit this time. Just a simple shirt, sleeves rolled up, trying to stay unnoticed. But every time a child rolled smoothly across the floor for the first time, he felt something loosen inside his chest. Ethan moved freely among the other kids, showing them how fast he could go. His laughter echoed off the walls, turning the warehouse into something alive. Michael stepped beside Sophia. "You were right," he said softly. "This is different from charity." Sophia smiled without looking at him. "This is respect." Michael nodded. "I spent years believing money made me powerful. But this," he gestured around the room, "this is purpose." Later that afternoon, a mother approached Sophia with tears in her eyes. "No one has ever done this for us," she whispered. Sophia squeezed her hand gently. "You're not alone anymore." As the day wound down, the crowd thinned. Michael lingered, watching Sophia clean up, moving with the same focus she had that first day on the sidewalk. He realized she hadn't changed at all. The world around her had. "I want to keep this going," he said. In other cities, New York, Los Angeles, everywhere, Sophia met his gaze. "Then we train people. We don't build statues." Michael smiled. "Deal." That evening, as the sun dipped behind Chicago's skyline, Sophia locked the doors and took a deep breath. She thought of that broken wheel, the scared boy, the man in the expensive suit who had learned to see. Sometimes, she realized, the smallest repairs set the biggest things in motion. Inside his car, Michael watched Ethan through the rearview mirror, strong and confident, rolling forward without fear. He understood now that success wasn't measured in profits or headlines. It was measured in how many lives you helped move forward. And it all began with a young mechanic who chose to kneel on the pavement and care.